What if we told you that music's most powerful couple, yes, Beyoncé and Jay-Z, might be on the brink of a financial meltdown? Shocking, right? But the whispers are growing louder, and the receipts? Oh, they're messier than anyone expected. From lavish spending sprees to shady investments and explosive arguments behind closed doors, fans are stunned by the sudden cracks in what once seemed like an untouchable empire. Sources close to the Carter household claim that tensions have reached an all-time high, with Beyoncé allegedly confronting Jay-Z over missing funds, secret accounts, and risky ventures that could cost them their billion-dollar brand. Imagine Queen Bey, usually calm and composed, throwing down her phone in a rage after uncovering a financial betrayal she never saw coming. Insiders say there had been screaming matches in their $88 million mansion, icy silence at public events, and even emergency meetings with lawyers, their closest friends. Staying real quiet, and the Bayhive? Absolutely buzzing. Could the king and queen of music be drowning in debt while keeping up appearances? Or is something even darker unfolding behind those perfectly curated Instagram posts? Stick around, because what we've uncovered will leave you speechless. They looked like perfection. A power couple draped in diamonds, walking red carpets with unshakable poise, breaking records, and collecting billion-dollar deals like candy. Beyoncé and Jay-Z had become more than just music royalty. They were the ultimate symbol of success, love, and generational wealth. But behind the glimmering facade, something had begun to rot. And nobody saw it coming. It started subtly. Just whispers at first. A few industry insiders hinting that not all was well in the Carter empire. Some claimed it was nothing more than artistic burnout. Others, though, whispered of something far more scandalous. Financial trouble. And not just any trouble, debt, betrayal, and secrets hidden so deep even the queen herself hadn't seen them coming. According to a close source, the cracks began to show when Beyoncé asked a simple question during a routine financial meeting: where did $20 million go? Jay-Z reportedly brushed it off, saying it was a temporary investment, tied up in a blockchain startup that was about to go public. But Beyoncé wasn't satisfied. She pressed further, and that's when the tension began to bubble. The source claimed she left the room in complete silence, her face unreadable, but behind closed doors, emotions ran high. According to another insider, someone who had worked closely with both of them for years, Beyoncé confronted Jay-Z late one night in their home studio. She was calm at first, but as the conversation unfolded, her voice shook with disbelief. "How could you move that kind of money without even telling me?" she allegedly said, pacing the room while Jay-Z remained seated, his arms crossed. "Because I knew you'd say no," he replied coldly. The words hung in the air like smoke, thick, suffocating. And in that moment, something shifted. The argument turned into a full-blown shouting match. Accusations flew like daggers. Beyoncé accusing Jay-Z of gambling their legacy on unstable ventures, and Jay-Z accusing her of trying to control every move he made. The same chemistry that had made them unstoppable in business had turned into something toxic, something volatile. Friends who were present during that week described the energy in the mansion as heavy. The staff was instructed to avoid unnecessary conversations. One assistant claimed she witnessed Beyoncé sitting alone on the patio for hours, staring out at the ocean, not saying a word. Another said Jay-Z had started sleeping in the guest wing. Rumors began surfacing in fan circles. Blurry photos appeared online showing Jay-Z in New York, entering a private banker's office in a hooded sweatshirt and sunglasses. Meanwhile, Beyoncé was spotted shopping in Ma with her mom, looking tense, her phone glued to her hand. Then came the social media clues. Beyoncé's captions became cryptic. Short phrases like "counting losses" and "what's mine will stay mine." Fans were quick to speculate, with some believing she was hinting at financial betrayal. Others said it was just another album rollout tactic. But what nobody realized was how deep the problems truly ran. A longtime associate of the couple revealed that their fortune had been gradually bleeding for over a year. Lavish spending, bad investments, legal battles tied to old business deals, and a quiet lawsuit involving one of Jay-Z's old partners, all of it had started to chip away at the empire. And now, Beyoncé had had enough. She's always been about control, the associate said. Every tour, every appearance, every contract, she double-checks everything. So when she found out that millions were missing and Jay-Z had been playing it down for months, it broke something in her. Despite the drama, the couple still appeared together in public. Just days after the rumored argument, they attended a charity gala in Beverly Hills. But observers noted the stiffness. There were no smiles, no shared glances, no affection. One journalist described them as looking like business partners who just signed a deal they both regretted. Fans online were torn. Some defended them, saying people were reading too much into minor things. Others were convinced this was the beginning of the end. Hashtags like "Is the Carter Empire Crumbling?" and "Pray for Bey" began trending. Meanwhile, a new twist emerged. A confidential leak revealed that Jay-Z had invested over $15 million into a failed cryptocurrency platform. Months earlier, a move he never disclosed publicly or even to Beyoncé. The platform had since been shut down and all. Investors lost their money. When Beyoncé discovered this, she was reportedly livid. She demanded a full financial audit of all their joint holdings. Lawyers were brought in. Multiple accounts were frozen. And sources claim she began moving her own assets into private trusts. Without telling Jay-Z, the tension reached a boiling point when their eldest daughter, Blue Ivy, overheard one of their arguments. According to someone close to the family, she later asked her grandmother if her parents were getting divorced. That moment, the source says, was a wake-up call for Beyoncé. She's fiercely protective of her children, they said. And knowing that the drama was starting to affect them, that was the final straw. Yet, despite everything, Jay-Z didn't back down. He told close friends that Beyoncé was overreacting and that every couple goes through financial ups and downs. But those same friends also revealed that he had been feeling the pressure for a while. With several of his business ventures flopping and Beyoncé dominating the spotlight, his confidence had started to crack. The power dynamic between them had shifted. For years, they had been equals, each bringing their own strength to the table. But now it felt like Beyoncé was running the show, and Jay-Z was trying desperately to prove he still mattered. One night, after another heated argument, Beyoncé reportedly told him, "You don't have to prove anything to me, just stop lying." And with that, she walked out of the room, leaving Jay-Z alone with his thoughts. But this was just the beginning. The next day, the story took another sharp turn, one that no one, not even their closest allies, saw coming. The next day, the story took another sharp turn, one that no one, not even their closest allies, saw coming. Early in the morning, Beyoncé's longtime business manager was seen arriving at the mansion with a briefcase and a stack of legal folders. An hour later, Jay-Z's attorney showed up too. Insiders claimed the two met in the living room with the couple seated on opposite ends of the velvet sectional, refusing to look at each other. For the first time in years, their empire was no longer operating on trust, it was running on damage control. But here's the twist that stunned everyone. Instead of cooling things down, the meeting reportedly escalated into a verbal battlefield. Beyoncé laid out a detailed timeline of all the unexplained withdrawals and secret accounts she had uncovered, slamming the documents onto the table in front of Jay-Z. "Do you even know what loyalty means anymore?" she asked, her voice low but sharp. Sharp. Jay-Z didn't flinch. Instead, he allegedly leaned forward and said, "I built this empire. Don't forget who taught you how to play the game." That one line set off a chain reaction. The manager tried to intervene, but Beyoncé stood up and walked out, leaving the room in silence. It was the first time, the insider said, that anyone had seen her that visibly shaken. Just hours later, fans noticed something even more alarming. Beyoncé had unfollowed Jay-Z on Instagram. It was subtle but intentional. And the internet exploded. Screenshots went viral within minutes. Blogs were flooded with speculation. Was this a publicity stunt? Or was the Queen sending a message? Then came the leak. A mysterious account posted an audio clip, allegedly recorded during one of their private arguments. The voices were muffled but recognizable. Beyoncé could be heard saying, "I don't trust you anymore. Not with the money, not with anything." Jay-Z responded, "This isn't about money, it's about control." Fans were shocked. The Bayhive mobilized instantly, dissecting every word, every tone. Some blamed Jay-Z for risking their legacy. Others questioned Beyoncé's cold demeanor. And just like that, the internet was divided. But while fans argued online, another storm was brewing behind the scenes. One of Jay-Z's former business partners, someone he hadn't spoken to in years, suddenly came forward with allegations. He claimed Jay-Z had pushed him out of a major deal years ago and had been hiding assets ever since. The man threatened legal action and stated he had documents that could prove everything. The timing was suspicious. Some believed he was cashing in on the current chaos. Others believed the fire had finally spread too far for Jay-Z to contain. Either way, it was another public blow, and Beyoncé was watching closely. Meanwhile, she was quietly making her own moves. According to a close friend, Beyoncé had begun speaking with a team of independent financial advisors, separate from the Carter brand. She wanted transparency, control, and most of all, she wanted safety for herself and her children. The same friend revealed that Beyoncé had even considered stepping away from the spotlight altogether. For months, she'd been feeling burned out, emotionally drained, and betrayed. The thought of disappearing for a while, of finding peace away from the noise, was becoming more tempting by the day. Jay-Z, on the other hand, was spiraling. Sources close to his inner circle said he'd become erratic, frustrated, and short-tempered. He'd fired 2 assistants in the same week, and during a recent studio session, he allegedly threw a tablet across the room after getting a call from one of his lawyers. "He's never been this on edge," a producer shared. "He's not focused, he's not sleeping. It's like he knows everything's slipping through his fingers." At the same time, the media had started to catch on. Major outlets began publishing stories with titles like "Trouble in the Carter Kingdom" and "Has the billion-dollar brand gone bankrupt?" Publicists scrambled to deny the claims, releasing statements about creative differences and temporary disagreements. But the public wasn't buying it. Paparazzi caught Beyoncé leaving a therapy center in Los Angeles. When asked about the rumors, she said nothing. Her face was expressionless, her silence louder than any statement. Then came one of the most unexpected twists yet. A family insider revealed that Tina Knowles, Beyoncé's mother, had intervened. She reportedly hosted a private dinner at her home, inviting only Beyoncé, Jay-Z, and a therapist. The goal was to find common ground, not as business partners or public figures, but as a couple. According to someone familiar with the evening, the dinner started off tense. Barely any eye contact, silence between courses. But by the end of the night, something began to shift. Jay-Z opened up, admitting that he'd made reckless decisions out of pride and fear. He said he didn't know how to ask for help without feeling weak. Beyoncé acute listened. She didn't forgive him right away, but she listened. "You're not weak for being honest," she reportedly told him. "You're weak for lying to someone who would have fought with you through anything." For a brief moment, it seemed like healing was possible, but healing doesn't come easy when billions of dollars in broken trust are involved. The next morning, Jay-Z received another legal notice, this time from a former investor who claimed Jay-Z had misrepresented the value of a joint project. The lawsuit demanded millions in damages. Beyoncé acute saw the email, and something inside her broke again. She told her mother later that day, "I thought I was married to a businessman, but maybe I was just another investor." That line echoed through the family for days. Their children, though shielded from the chaos, had started to sense the tension. Blue Ivy had become more withdrawn. The twins, too young to understand, had picked up on the silence between their parents. Friends began to pick sides. Some stayed loyal to Beyoncé, saying she'd always been the backbone of the empire. Others sympathized with Jay-Z, calling him misunderstood and overwhelmed. Even industry peers began whispering, questioning whether the Carters could bounce back or if this was the beginning of the end. But the biggest shock of all was yet to come, because just as things seemed to be spiraling completely out of control, an anonymous source reached out to a popular entertainment blog with a story so explosive, so unthinkable, it made everything else seem tame in comparison. They claimed that a third party had been involved all along. Someone close to Jay-Z, someone who had been influencing his decisions, manipulating him behind the scenes, and possibly working against Beyoncé from the start. The internet caught fire. People began speculating wildly. Who was it? A business partner? A family member? A secret friend from the past? Beyoncé, sources said, already had her suspicions, and she was about to confront him in a way that would change everything. Beyoncé acute. Sources said already had her suspicions, and she was about to confront him in a way that would change everything. The confrontation happened late at night, long after the kids had gone to bed. The air inside the mansion was heavy, silent, like the calm before a storm. Beyoncé walked into Jay-Z's private office holding a folder, her fingers clenched tight around it. Jay-Z was on a video call, headphones in, unaware of what was coming. When he looked up and saw her standing there, his face instantly dropped. She didn't speak right away. She placed the folder on his desk, opened it slowly, and slid the papers across to him. Bank statements, text messages, a photo of Jay-Z with someone he hadn't spoken about in years, his former financial advisor, Marcus Gray. "Tell me why you've been taking meetings with him behind my back," she said quietly. Jay-Z's mouth opened, but no words came. He reached for the papers, eyes scanning every page like he was seeing them for the first time. "It's not what you think," he finally muttered. "Then explain it," Beyoncé shot back, her voice cracking for the first time. Jay-Z stood up, pacing the room, running his hands over his face. He admitted that Marcus had been advising him for the past 6 months off the books under a dummy company name. The reason? He was trying to recoup the money he'd lost, fast. He thought Marcus had a plan, quick turnaround investments, discreet moves, no media involvement. "I didn't want you to worry," he said, almost whispering. I've not worried," Beyoncé replied. "I'm disgusted." The room went silent. What made it worse was that Marcus Gray had a history. He'd previously been involved in a string of lawsuits, fraud accusations, and investor scandals. Beyoncé had personally vetoed working with him years ago. And now Jay-Z had gone back to him, secretly. "You put everything we built in the hands of a man we agreed never to trust," she said, her eyes filling with tears. Jay-Z tried to explain that Marcus had changed, that he was desperate, that he just wanted to fix things before they collapsed. But it was too late. Beyoncé walked out of the room, this time with no intention of coming back. The next day, she moved into a private estate in Malibu. Just temporarily, she told her team. But the message was clear. She needed space. Fans spotted the moving vans, and speculation exploded all over again. The headlines shifted from whispers to full-blown panic. Beyoncé moves out? Jay-Z betrayed her again? Carter empire collapsing. Within hours, a former bodyguard came forward with more tea. He claimed that Marcus Gray had not only been advising Jay-Z, but also manipulating his access to funds, pushing him to sign risky agreements without legal review. One such document allegedly gave Marcus control over several assets linked to Jay-Z's streaming platform. The betrayal wasn't just emotional. It was financial. And it was deep. Sources say Beyoncé immediately called an emergency meeting with her legal team and began separating her assets permanently. She wanted her name off every shared account, every joint venture, every property that wasn't under her full control. There was no more room for compromise. Meanwhile, Jay-Z was spiraling further. He was photographed looking tense and unshaven, leaving a midtown office building in the early morning hours. Tabloids described him as unrecognizable and clearly under pressure. Some fans even feared for his mental health. But Beyoncé? She was focused, cold, calculating, and absolutely done. She began surrounding herself with new advisors, powerful women, entrepreneurs, lawyers. No more shared counsel. No more blurred lines. It was her money now, her legacy. And she wasn't going to let anyone destroy it, not even her husband. Friends close to her say she stopped taking Jay-Z's calls. The only communication between them went through legal teams. Insiders described it as a full corporate separation. At this point, the drama had spread beyond the couple. Their joint business ventures started to feel the shockwaves. Staff from the entertainment company reported sudden freezes in operations, contracts were delayed, meetings canceled. One executive claimed he hadn't seen either of them in weeks. And then, as if the situation wasn't messy enough, someone leaked an old video from years ago. A private birthday celebration. In it, Jay-Z is seen giving a toast, laughing with Marcus Gray, while Beyoncé sits stiffly at the edge of the room, not smiling. The video went viral within hours. Fans started piecing together a timeline. Theories flooded social media. Had Beyoncé known all along? Was this drama building for years beneath the surface? And just as the fire was raging, another match was lit. A major fashion brand, one that had partnered with the Carters for a luxury collaboration, suddenly announced a temporary pause in its contract. No explanation was given. But everyone knew what it meant. the brand didn't want the drama. The Carter name was no longer bulletproof. This hit Beyoncé harder than she expected. According to a stylist on her team, she broke down after hearing the news. "I've sacrificed everything to build this brand," she reportedly said, "and now it's being dragged through the mud." For a woman who had spent decades controlling every image, every soundbite, every frame of her public persona, this was her worst nightmare. To watch it unravel not because of a scandal she created, but because of the person she trusted the most. But she wasn't about to let it break her. A week later, she emerged on stage at a surprise benefit concert in Los Angeles. She didn't address the rumors. She didn't mention Jay-Z, but she wore a dazzling gold suit, stood under a single spotlight, and performed her most emotionally charged songs with a fire that hadn't been seen in years. Fans called it a rebirth, a reclaiming, a warning, and backstage, her team was already preparing the next move. A new project, solo, independent, no Carter brand attached. Jay-Z, meanwhile, was nowhere to be found. He hadn't posted in weeks, hadn't made a public appearance. Some speculated he was abroad, trying to recover financially and emotionally. Others believed he was still in New York, desperately trying to salvage what was left of his reputation and legacy. But whatever he was doing, it wasn't enough. Because Beyoncé had just made her next move, and it was going to change everything. Beyoncé had just made her next move, and it was going to change everything. The news broke early on a Tuesday morning. Beyoncé had quietly registered a brand new entertainment company under her maiden name. No Carter, no joint ownership. The company, described by insiders as a full-service empire in the making, would handle everything from fashion and film to tech investments and social initiatives. It was clean. It was sharp. And it was all hers. A press release dropped just hours later. Concise, professional, not a single mention of Jay-Z. The tone was clear. She was stepping into a new era, one that didn't require a partner to validate her power. Fans went wild. The internet erupted in applause. Hashtags like Queen Babe Reborn and Beyoncé solo era trended for days. While the world celebrated her independence, those closest to Jay-Z said he was devastated. He had underestimated her. He thought the storm would pass like it had before. But this time, she didn't just walk away from the argument. She walked away from the empire they built together. People inside Jay-Z's circle tried to contain the fallout, but the damage was everywhere. Sponsors were pulling back. Artists tied to his label were demanding clarity. And worst of all, some of his most trusted friends were ghosting him. One industry executive claimed Jay-Z had become toxic. "He's radioactive right now. No one wants their name tied to this kind of drama," the source revealed. Beyoncé, meanwhile, was thriving. Within a week, she announced a limited edition fashion line in collaboration with a major global designer. The pre-orders crashed the website. She donated a portion of the profits to women-led startups, a not-so-subtle reminder that her brand wasn't just alive, it was powerful, purposeful, and untouchable. But the biggest twist was still to come. An anonymous insider leaked documents, revealing that Jay-Z had attempted to sell part of their joint streaming platform to a private investor. Without Beyoncé's knowledge, the investor pulled out when they discovered the internal tension. The deal collapsed. Millions were lost. When Beyoncé found out, she was reportedly done with negotiations. Her legal team issued a formal statement to Jay-Z's lawyers. She would be severing all joint business contracts immediately. The Carter brand, as the world knew it, was over. One night, Jay-Z tried to reach her directly. He showed up at her Malibu estate unannounced, hoping for a private conversation. But security didn't let him pass the gate. Someone from Beyoncé's team came out with a note. It read simply, "This isn't how you fix things." Sources say Jay-Z sat in his car for over an hour before driving away in silence. From that point on, it was a silent war. No statements, no posts. Just two empires drifting apart like distant planets, each holding onto pieces of a legacy that was once whole. The fans, still in shock, began debating what all of this meant. Was this a soft separation? Was divorce on the table? Or were they simply untangling the business to save the marriage? No one knew. And that silence only made the speculation louder. At a private brunch event in Los Angeles, a former friend of the couple revealed that this had been building for years. They were Too powerful to fail, she said. But even power has its limits when the trust is gone. Gone. In the days that followed, Beyoncé was seen smiling again, walking on the beach with her kids, laughing with friends, recording music in a new studio. Sources close to her said she felt lighter, more focused. She's not bitter, one friend shared. She's just done. Meanwhile, Jay-Z was spotted in Paris, sitting alone at a cafe, no entourage, no cameras. Just him, his phone, and a journal he scribbled in for over an hour. Some say he's working on a comeback album. Others say he's working on himself, one insider close to his team said he thought he was the architect. But now he's realizing he was just a part of her blueprint. What started as a few missing millions had erupted into the slow unraveling of an empire built on love, ambition, and secrets. The money troubles were never just about money. They were about loyalty, about power, about two legends trying to coexist in the same kingdom until the castles started to crumble from the inside out. The music industry is still reeling. Business partners are reshuffling, fans are praying, and the media is watching like hawks for the next clue. Will they find their way back to each other? Or will their legacies continue separately, shining in different directions? Only time will tell, but one thing's for sure, the world will never look at Beyoncé and Jay-Z the same way again. So now that everything's out in the open, the whispered arguments, the financial betrayal, the quiet power moves, and the empire torn in two, one question remains. How did we get here? Beyoncé and Jay-Z were once the gold standard, a couple who seemed to rise above the noise, the scandals, and the fame. But beneath the diamond-studded surface was a battle of pride, control, and broken trust. The money troubles? They were just the spark that lit a much bigger fire. From the outside, it looked like a fall from grace. But from the inside, it was the story of a woman reclaiming her power, and a man forced to confront the cracks in his kingdom. The fans are left divided. Some blame Jay-Z, others wonder if Beyoncé had been planning this all along. And the rest? They just want to know what's next. Is this the end of music's royal couple? Or the beginning of two unstoppable solo empires? What do you think? Was this downfall years in the making? Can trust ever be rebuilt after betrayal this big? Or was it always about more than just money? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We want to hear every theory, every hot take, every wild guess. And if you made it this far, hit that like button to support more deep dives like this. Don't forget to subscribe for more shocking celebrity exposes. And turn on notifications so you never miss a twist in the drama. Because in Hollywood, the truth isn't just stranger than fiction. It is fiction. Until next time, stay curious. And stay watching.